Liberal leadership candidate Mark Carney has secured one of the most significant remaining Liberal caucus endorsements. Finance Minister Dominic LeBlanc posted this statement saying, time and time again, Mark Carney has demonstrated he has what it takes to steer a G7 economy through choppy waters. Carney now has the backing of 85 Liberals in the caucus. Chrystia Freeland has the support of 26 MPs, and Karina Gould has 2 MPs in her camp.
Well, folks, we are hours away from the very first of 2 Liberal debates that will be happening in Montreal for the leadership of the Liberal Party. Tonight's will be the French debate, which will be hosted by Pierre Jobin, and tomorrow will be the English debate, which was supposed to be hosted by Steve Paikin, but now it's a former CBC anchor by the name of Hannah Thibodeau. I believe that's how you pronounce her last name. Now, just before the weekend, we got news that on Friday that Ruby Dalla was disqualified. And since then, she's been on a bit of a media spree, I think leading up to the debates, to maybe see if she could get the word out, maybe find a way to get back into the race. I know she filed an appeal, which I don't know if that was for the donations in particular, because they did this after she submitted all the money. But this is what she actually said during a CTV interview. Take a listen.
The Liberal Party appears had a predetermined agenda. There were people that were informed last night that this disqualification would be coming. Minutes before I actually started the interview process with this committee, I had received text messages from 2 separate individuals stating that the outcome of the meeting before it had started would be that I would be disqualified.
Now, obviously, we can't confirm or deny what Ruby's claiming here until we see the text messages, but it does seem like they were stacking the deck quite a bit against her in regards to the debate, not having her go against Mark Carney. Just a week or so ago, they announced that they were not allowing her to have the interpreter come onto the French debates, which maybe they were hoping that she would just withdraw on her own accord, which didn't happen. She finished paying the fees. Then last week, we had them reporting some sort of foreign interference, which then they backtracked and said, actually, it's not foreign interference. It has something to do with this. And then this clip that I'm about to show you happened just before the announcement of her disqualification. They openly admit that she would most likely be the biggest threat to Mark Carney on the stage, especially the way she's been attacking him or posting things on social media. And then a former Liberal chief of staff says this.
But Stevie, it seems like Ruby Dalla, who we are hoping to have on the show maybe tomorrow, is going to go into that debate on Monday and without the translation, and again on Tuesday, and she is going to attack the frontrunner pretty aggressively. Like, she brings a very interesting, based on what she's doing on social media, that is my impression. What kind of a dynamic does it
I certainly
create?
hope that the party finds a legitimate reason to disqualify her candidacy before the debates.
Really?
I hope so. I think that, we've got a serious campaign. Canadians are looking for a serious leader. I think that's one of the reasons that Carney is doing very well. I would really hate for us to lose, as a partisan, to lose that momentum because someone's trying to turn the debates into a circus.
Now, I think that it's wild that the Liberal of all people was the one to say that. And you could even hear it from David Cochrane. He was like, really? You want her disqualified? And the response that Stevie gave, that Ruby would turn this into a circus, to me just indicates that she's worried of Ruby challenging Mark Carney on stage, because we know that nobody else is going to really challenge him, especially Freeland. I would be surprised. That is the godfather to her son, so I can't see her kind of going for his throat in that aspect. And it's just going to be a bunch of softball nonsense that's most likely going to happen in these debates. Now, Tim, the conservative panelist, he actually makes a good point saying, like, no, this is what needs to be involved, especially in these debates, so people can get tested.
That's a tough thing to do. I mean, they've already disqualified Chandra Arya, right? And Ruby Dalla has paid the $350,000. Tim, I mean, what are your thoughts on what
it's almost a bit of a rite of passage for anybody who's going to win a leadership race to deal with an outliers campaign. I mean, they happen in every significant leadership race. Somebody puts their hand
That's
up.
true.
I mean, the conservatives
you're
have
right.
whacks of them, so you always will have somebody who will come in. And if you're going to win and be Mark Carney, one of the first tests you need to be able to master is, all right, how do we manage this? It's not bad training, in fact, because he's going to get far worse in a campaign.
Now, Tim is 100% right. Like, Carney hasn't been battle tested whatsoever. He's essentially cultivated an environment of comfort for himself. And when you hear liberals like Stevie complain that, oh, we can't have another liberal going hard at him, like asking Carney some hard questions, what does happen once the campaigns start? Because the conservatives are definitely going to go hard at him. I'm sure the other party leaders or party members are also going to go hard on him. So allow this guy to be able to deal with it. I mean, if we just take the interview that he had with Rosemary Barton recently, he did not seem comfortable with any of the pushback that he was getting. And you're not going to see that from the other candidates. Ruby Dahl was probably the only one that would have done that. And even the panel admits that Ruby had more blue liberal views, or like conservative / PPC views, which I'd have to agree with. However, she did say that she's going to be trying to bring the party back to the center because they've gone too far left and progressive. But take a listen to this question from CTV when they were interviewing her.
You know, Ruby, those who are listening to you at the moment may also say that this seems like a case of sour grapes in the manner in which you are at the moment blaming the Liberal Party for the decision that has come against you. You are saying this was a predetermined agenda. So my question is, if you thought this was really the case, why fight for the race up until today and not tell the media, if you wanted to, or someone else, that there was an agenda already running against you?
It's certainly not a case of sour grapes. I mean, the party, they do not want an outsider. They do not want the establishment to be questioned. And to be very honest, I had not gone to the media prior because I was honoring an NDA that I did have with the party in regards to the leadership process rules.
Now, if you just break down what CTV said, Ruby can't win here at all because he's saying, well, now you're just complaining and crying that you got kicked out. But if you thought that there was something fishy happening, how come you didn't come to the media and say something earlier? So that's on her now. But then if she had, I bet you the rhetoric would have been, oh, well, you're just complaining because things aren't going your way and Carney looks like he's going to beat you. So now you're just trying to smear him, because that's what they were saying that she's been doing online with her memes and her attacks at Carney. And she also did bring up certain things like how Joly, LeBlanc, all the other ministers were advising him or giving him information, which he openly admitted that he was in contact with them. And she said, he's not a sitting cabinet member. He's not been elected. Why is he getting private briefings from these cabinet ministers? It doesn't make any sense. Yet the media swept that under the rug. And now here she is, because she doesn't have to listen to this NDA, I guess, trying to express what she's found out, what she heard, what was going on. And they're saying, well, if that was the case, why didn't you come earlier to the media? So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, which is not surprising when it comes to the Liberals. But as I mentioned, she's been kind of doing quite a bit of media, and she actually was on Rebel News, and she mentioned something at the very end of that interview about Carney and his donations. Take a listen.
All right, there you have it. For more, go to draftruby.com.
You should also take a look at one other thing. You know, they were talking about these financial violations. I mean, with Elections Canada. And meanwhile, we haven't even filed a report. But Mark Carney, 21, donors with foreign addresses. So if
wow. I will look into that. Thank you.
Talking about violations, it's quite interesting that they'll do anything to protect their blue-eyed boy, but in the interim, they'll go out and attack, the first woman of color that was ever running, for the leadership of the Liberal Party. It's shocking.
Now, I believe at this point, Carney has over 11,000 donations. So I personally am not going to be going through all of these names and addresses to find these 21 foreign donations, but maybe Ruby's got a team that's already been on that. Maybe Ezra and Rebel News have started working on that. So only time will tell. But I know they were going after her for a potential foreign donation. And if he does have 21, then I don't know what he's doing on that debate stage tonight. But as it is with the Liberals, it's rules for thee and not rules for me. Anyways, guys, I'd love to hear from you, so leave your comments in the comment section below. I'll probably keep you guys updated. I might watch the debate tonight and then give you an update tomorrow on how it went. But as always, I will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks so much.